welcome to UC Today. My name is Christopher Carey and today I'm joined by Lee Hamilton, the Head of Product Marketing at Dstny. Today's session will focus on how Dstny's Call2Teams service is evolving and the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. Lee, it's great to have you with us. Given your expertise in this area, what are the main challenges that service providers have when leveraging Microsoft Teams?
It's an interesting question. And things that we've been centering on this year actually is whether or not service providers kind of see Microsoft as a threat or not. I think that's kind of the biggest question that we encounter. And we don't think they are. Actually, Microsoft has an incredibly powerful platform that I think with an integration like Call2Teams to get telephony into it, you can leverage all that power, but with your existing infrastructure as well. So for us, it's about ensuring you play well with Teams, maximize what Teams actually has to offer and all the goodness that kind of comes with it, but to kind of impact customer experience and also, I think, probably most critically as well, also employee experience, which sometimes that's kind of missed when it comes to the thinking, especially around kind of the user base.
And what unique value do you see Call2Teams delivering for enterprises and service providers?
It's just the simplicity. So we kind of pitch it as the complete voice choice for Microsoft Teams. So from a service provider perspective and a customer perspective as well, what we're able to do is plug straight into their existing infrastructure. So we effectively kind of voice enable the PBX or the UC that they have. So where we see a lot of markets at the moment, a lot of businesses still with on-prem or kind of legacy UC and PBX, is that we're looking to continually sweat that asset until it's kind of fully amortized. They need to be able to kind of maximize what they have, and deploying something like Call2Teams and allowing them to kind of bring those capabilities into Teams, but within kind of a UI which is effectively ubiquitous in the world, right? 300 plus million users worldwide. That for me is kind of a key thing. So Call2Teams is incredibly strong. We're a market leader. We've been around for a very long time, with a variety of different partner sizes, from very, very small to very, very large, and the scalability is proven within that as well. So we bring a lot of value to service providers and to customers. Customers don't necessarily know us because we sit in the background all quietly, but we bring a lot of value to those guys as well.
And where are you seeing the strongest adoption, like specific industries, regions, customer types?
It's varied, really. I mean, it's where the service provider tends to kind of lean in terms of their services that they push out with it. Obviously, we're one part that plugs into an overall team story that the service provider will have. Hybrid work, obviously, we don't use pandemic anymore. That's is a really kind of poor time, obviously, for everyone. I had a daughter that was born in a pandemic, which kind of stretched us as a family. So I know that, but moving forward, it's kind of what does the world look like out of it? And I think hybrid work is very much here to stay. And so any organisations, industries, and verticals which has that hybrid workforce that leverages that has kind of a teams first philosophy is kind of ripe. It's ripe for this. So there's no particular one vertical industry. It's kind of a ubiquitous thing, but you've got to have the kind of the hybrid work element to it.
And looking beyond Teams, how does Call2Teams fit into the broader UC integration strategy?
As an integration, it's fairly simple what we do. We bring telephony into Teams, and we do that extremely well. So it's not necessarily about the expansion of our capabilities, it's about how the service providers and the UC providers wrap that particular service around their proposition, their positioning when it comes to Teams. So I think actually the important thing is, coming back to my initial point, is how much would you want to kind of push the Microsoft story and kind of lean into that. So using a service like Call2Teams, the integration like Call2Teams, to kind of leverage that in terms of taking the headaches away, having a nice seamless integration, enabling customers to get set really, really quickly. So for a new service provider, once you're onboarded, from so you've got a customer from first kind of customer setup to a user calling, it's under 10 minutes. So it's pretty much instantaneous. But coming back to the point, it's how you wrap your proposition and your positioning around that to kind of fully leverage that Microsoft story. So any service provider we work with, they have to see Teams as the opportunity, I feel.
And looking ahead, I mean, what developments or enhancements should customers expect around Call2Teams and integrations?
Absolutely. I mean, we're looking at a wider story when it comes to the Teams integration in general. So we have Carrier Automate, which is for Operator Connect. We have Call2Teams, which is for direct routing. And we also have Converge, which is for the kind of FMC and the native mobility story. So actually, from a kind of a holistic Teams integration perspective, we're very well positioned. Now, if you look at what the analysts are kind of predicting in terms of the overall growth of Teams integrations from a telephony perspective, but the change in the proportion of integrations that sit within that, I think it's an interesting kind of next 5 years where Operator Connect is anticipated to grow. Direct routing remains a strong component of that, which we have called Teams, but it's important for I guess for your viewers and everyone to know actually is that Dstny is very well positioned when it comes to Teams integrations, regardless of how they would like to plug into Teams.
So with the rise of AI, how do we see something like voice integrations being developed in that field?
It's a really important question and something we're quite passionate about, especially when it comes to Call2Teams. Voice is our world, and I think if you look at kind of historically, voice was very much top of mind. It then got pushed to the background to some degree because of the rise of AI, and then now voice is coming back in again. And I think what everyone in the market is starting to realise is that voice is a real key fundamental layer in order to which then to layer kind of AI capabilities onto. So if you think about, for me, voice is actually the most critical communication method, right? You get a lot of sentiment from voice. You're able to understand, especially from a customer experience perspective or customer success perspective, you're able to understand the tonality, the sentiment, how quickly people talk, how do they feel. And so a lot of that is gold for AI, especially when it comes to meeting assistants, where they look to kind of analyze conversations in order to provide feedback to those agents, especially in customer kind of contact center environments, in terms of how they can improve whether that conversation went well or not. So it's really critical that service provider have a real solid foundational layer in which to kind of build that on. So when it comes to Call2Teams and the other Teams integration elements we have, we're solid with that. So we provide that into Teams, to which then Teams users and organization, or Teams first users and organizations can layer on Copilot onto, and other bits and pieces as well. So the takeaway from that is voice is incredibly important. It will be for the foreseeable, and a solid integration such as Call2Teams, Carrier Automate, Converge, etc. is paramount to the success of that for organizations.
And have you seen a big increase in this demand from the customer side?
Yeah, I mean, AI is becoming ubiquitous now. Everyone has a meeting assistant, or any chat you go into, you just got a ton of meeting assistants come in to kind of transcribe and summarize that conversation. So the demand is increasing. I think the question always is as well, how can we best leverage your service to maximize the investments that we're doing in other areas? So when you think about Call2Teams specifically, is that we're taking all the kind of the real good capabilities that they have with their UC and their PBX, with Teams enabling that. So then when users are in Teams in that native environment, which is again is quite critical, they can then use the native capabilities that Teams has to offer. So Copilot has been around for some time, but in terms of the capabilities, that's growing. And because you have a native integration into Teams, you're able to take all that good stuff they're developing and apply it straight to your conversations and communications that you're having.
Okay. I think that's all we have time for today, but it's been a really good session, and I'd like to thank Lee for joining us. Lee, if people want to find out a little bit more on this topic, what's the best way to get in touch with Dstny?
Yeah, get in touch, www.dstny.com, or if you want to email me, I'm more than happy to kind of take some questions in. So it's lee.hamilton@dstny.com.
Great. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and a share on social media, and we'll see you next time. I've been Christopher Carey for UC Today. Thanks for watching.